meeting to order. This is our custom. Would you all stand and face the flag as we say the flag?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So next point is to approve the agenda. Mr. Sampson, is there anything in addition to the agenda as shown? No. Okay. I would look for a motion to approve the agenda as listed.
I'll make a motion.
Jolene on the motion,
I'll second.
seconded by Luke. Other discussion? All in favor of the agenda approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. School board committee reports. Does anyone have anything for the cause? You had any meetings or anything like that you'd like to open up on?
I had all of mine, or would you like to go first?
No, go right ahead.
I had marketing committee, and we have Jen comes from Seavers Creative to come over and chat with us to see how our marketing efforts are going and how we zone out and, like, for example, if anybody shows up here and they have the cell phone in hand and everything like that, but then when they leave the area and go back to their hometown, they still get advertising for Cannon Falls, so it works slick. They continuously keep saying stuff about Cannon Falls, which is awesome because of it, we have gotten we continue to get new kids coming in because of that solely, and they can see that they click on like schedule me a tour. I want to see this. I want to see that. So we can see it kind of go through the line, and then we see the new child show up on our list and everything like that. So it's working. It's doing what it's supposed to do, which is awesome. I also had community ed. We tossed around ideas with Canna Kids and preschool and potentially increasing some fees to kind of help offset things as well as activities. Let's see. We talked about the summer flyers getting ready and going out. They need more art programs if anybody would like to volunteer for that, just to kind of balance out art and activities and sports. We discussed utilizing our facilities a little bit more potentially for potential revenue and stuff like that, because we have the space. So why not? Let's see. The other one, staff development, was today. At staff development, we talked a lot about the READ Act, which is coming down from state level, requiring staff to do 50 hours of education in order to educate our children a little bit differently in the reading department, but trying to compensate with time and money and management and everything like that is proving to be very challenging. So working through that process. The staff last Friday, they had a student mental health presentation that they really thought was well received. So brushing up on mental health in kids throughout the schools and stuff, so which is awesome. And then they're prepping for MCAs next month. They're coming up fast. So that was it.
You've been busy.
Correct, yeah. All three of them. Yep.
Anyone else? Any other reports?
I'll tell you quickly now. We had a meeting back in February. Met with the other school districts. Financially, WeTech's great for at least the next 10 years. It's looking really good from there. Right now, we are using kind of the standard firewall service as far as our internet protection goes. He did say that attacks are down this year as far as different phishing things are going on. We might have a decision to make here in September about what we want to do as far as internet security goes. There are an option coming down from the state where it would run $18 per device, so quite a bit more if we did want to look at upgrading our internet protection and our different firewalls that we have. Basically, the main parts we talked about WeTech.
Question for Brian? Okay. No one else? Okay. Moving down to administrative reports. We do have attachments, and I was just going to check with the admin to see if anybody had anything they'd like to add Tim isn't here. Stephen, anything?
Nope, nothing to add.
Community ed, Reed?
The only one thing that I would add is Thursday with boys basketball. We did receive an email tonight from the region. They are expecting big crowds and our fans to get there early, and they will not clear out in between A and AA. So one ticket will get you for both. But parking, I'm guessing, is going to be an issue. So get there early, please.
Dave Peterson had a narrative on his, if you had a chance to read it. Looks like business as usual, always behind the 8 ball this time of year. Soup's report?
Nothing really other than the agenda items that I've listed in my report there, unless you guys have questions.
Team, is there any questions or anything at all for any of the admin team after you've read the reports?
I just wanted to add one shout out for the BombBots team. We went to Duluth a couple weeks ago. Was it a couple weeks ago now? And they placed first in their competition, and now they got an invitation to go to the Worlds in Houston coming up in April, and it's just a huge thing for these kids. And the skills they're learning are such great lifelong skills that it's just an amazing program that we have here for them. For instance, their ranking was not high. When you go to these competitions, you get randomly paired up with 2 other schools, and you compete against another set of 3 schools. And our robot in several of our ranking competitions got all of the points that we got. So out of 28 points, we scored 28 points, and our other 2 teams didn't help us at all. And so they were not ranked well. So what that says about our team is our team was out there scouting like mad. They do their own scouting application. They go out and they recruit with the other teams, and they were picked by the top team to join their alliance. And that says a lot about how our kids network and all of those skills that they're building. And so it was really, really cool when we were all sitting there, and the loudness from our small little section in that deck arena when our number got called. So they did a really good job, and they are going to go to Houston. So they're starting to plan that.
It's the first time in program history.
It's the first time in program history that we have gotten to that point in the tournament. And then we also are going to UNI next weekend to compete down there. And our robot did really well. These kids have it together. It's really fun.
A parent was talking to me about that, and she was explaining the robot, and I guess in my brain I'm just thinking kids are building robots, and these robots are fighting against each other, or doing team activity type stuff. But she just was explaining it, that there was so much more into it, like you said.
Yeah, they have to there's different there's different tasks that you have to do to get the highest amount of points possible.
But even like the scouting aspect, it's
Yes.
almost like selling themselves as a business. So
Yes,
they're learning
totally.
like business skills. They're learning all the list
Marketing.
of skills. Yes.
Yep, and then
It was-
they try and get their own
Mhm.
sponsors, and
Yeah.
they do all of these like letters to their sponsors, and they market their number, they market themselves.
Yeah, just so much more.
They
was
have to
going
talk
into it.
to every,
Yeah.
and so this is going to be interesting in the Worlds competition to be talking to these other when you have that language barrier. It's going to be very interesting to see how all of that plays out.
The list of skills that they're learning is impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and things that they can take with them. So.
Just
So,
don't
yeah,
let
very cool.
Jolyn run it. I watched her run the one at NSBA conference.
I wouldn't want to drive it. They're hard. They're complicated.
It was really aggressive. It was.
Robotics has made presentations to us for, 5, 6, 7 years at least. And incrementally, you can see them
Get better, yes.
get better.
Well, and that's even what their coach had said to their whole team, that all of the people that have been in this program before you have gotten us to where we are today, and getting, this is success for everyone who has been a part of this program. So they've got really neat mentors, and I'm excited to see. I think they go to the elementary school tomorrow to show off their robot. So they're proud of it. So.
I was going to put you on the spot at the end of the agenda, but.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You've done really well. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I sent pictures to the board.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, anything else, team? Moving on to public input. about a topic at hand within the agenda. And we would ask if there's multiple people speaking on the same topic, that we would always just have predetermined people speak on the behalf of the group, so we don't have 15 people speaking. So you read all the narrative on there. Does anyone wish to speak to the board at this time? Amy?
I'm Amy Dombeck, and I have spent 40 years of my life in this district. First as a Cannon Falls student and graduate, but primarily as a social studies teacher. But I've worn other hats. I was the director of instructional technology, guiding the final stages of our tech initiatives. The work our teachers did prepared us more than many in this region for the professional, technological, and cognitive pivot during the global pandemic. I was recently asked to facilitate student learning in our new innovation lab, a STEM lab, that was made possible by a generous $100,000 gift from the local Gemini Corporation. This is an amazing space for a school our size and would be the envy of many metro area schools. My employment path looks unique compared to other teachers and that of our retired staff, who are some of our most reliable subs. One thing I know for sure, we are the group of dedicated professionals who have shaped our school system into the outstanding organization we have today. All teachers are professional human developers, and every day it is our individual and collective actions that help meet the broad and specific needs of students. Teachers help a student develop an understanding of who they are, what they are good at, or what they need to get better at. What do they want to learn more about, and even what will they devote their life to? It's teachers and all support staff whose individual and collective interactions with students make our schools a safe, nurturing, challenging, and inspiring environment. This is not only our school's mission, but a reality for many. And that's why investing in the wages and benefits of staff is as or more important than any budgetary expense a school could incur. I want to thank you for ratifying the contract at the last meeting. We also learned a couple of months ago at a board meeting of projected budget shortfalls. This is not new to us. For many years, state and federal governments have not fully funded public ed, with some blaming and shaming schools for not managing money better. Fully funding schools is an investment in one of the key pillars of a community. We need every member of our community, not just school staff, to actively participate in making school a safe, nurturing, challenging, and inspiring environment. It was explained at the last board meeting that if a levy is passed, the teachers will have a 4-year plan for wages. Thank you, Mr. Shulquist, for that. And for showing our commitment and investment in our teachers. This will go to our children. But teacher shortages are happening across Minnesota and the nation. Every school, but especially those outside metro areas, will compete for high quality teachers. The contract settlement isn't only what the teachers wanted, but it's also, as Superintendent Sampson said, what is needed to attract and retain staff by offering competitive wages and benefits. And even with its passing, we will lose great teachers at the end of the year because of a variety of financial decisions. Mr. Brittenall, you said the district needs to prioritize teachers like we have our students. All of you sitting in front of us tonight had a family member attend Cannon Falls, and some graduated from here. I hope you would agree that even in a small school like ours, there are many learning opportunities offered in our programs to prepare you for life after high school. When an organization's primary purpose is human development, the biggest part of the budget should be taking care of the people who put their heart, mind, and passions into human development. My hope is that the board and this community get behind one of the most important investments we will ever make, investing in student learning. Much will be asked and required of our students as they navigate a world where they will have to solve the fiscal, social, and environmental problems our current decision makers are kicking down the road. The reality facing the students we are educating now is that they will need to solve the problems we won't. We, the teachers, will do our part to prepare them for that. And we ask the board and the community to rally behind this most important investment in all of our futures, our students. Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kate Dolan, and I've been a part of Cannon Falls community since 2011, serving as a special education teacher in our high school. In my role, I've had the privilege of working with students from 9th through 12th grade, focusing on subjects like transition, social skills, emotional regulation, behavioral skills, and even integrating elements of math, reading, science, life skills, and social studies into our curriculum. Since the recent announcement of budget cuts, it has come to our attention that our students are being reduced to mere numbers, or dollar signs in the system. However, our students are much more than that. They deserve our undivided attention, compassion, and patience. These cuts not only increase our workload, but also diminish the time we can dedicate to collaborating with teachers and truly making a difference in our students' lives. Our program, special education program at Cannon Falls, is something we're proud of. We've been able to showcase our successes at meetings, highlighting the strengths of our special education program and the dedication of our staff in ensuring our students graduate and succeed beyond the classroom. As a special education teacher, we understand the uniqueness of each student and what strategies work best for them. We're willing to go the extra mile to ensure their success. In addition to our special education department achievements, we have award-winning speech teams, robotic teams, mathletes, successful sports teams, outstanding academic scores, and our art is celebrated throughout the community. Our school consistently ranks amongst the top 20 in the state, a testament to the dedication and talents of our educators. Cutting a staff's position will not only increase our special education heavy caseloads, each student requires a significant amount of individual attention, and while we are committed to making it work, losing a team member would undoubtedly impact the support and resources we can provide. Our work extends far beyond the classroom. We spend countless hours on paperwork, analyzing data, collaborating with teachers, providing one-to-one instruction, offering support when students are absent, and engaging with families to ensure every child's needs are met. Our goal is to help our students grow into competent, capable adults, and this requires more than just teaching math facts or academic subjects. It's also about building that lasting relationships that foster a sense of belonging, and we can often see this in the students that return to us and say hi. It's not just our special education staff that would be affected. Our entire teaching community would also feel the impact. We have an incredible team of educators who go above and beyond to make a difference in every student's life. While I'm proud to be a part of Cannon Falls and honored to teach our students, losing another position within our field would be detrimental. It would disrupt the learning environments, strain the student-teacher relationships, and erode the bonds that we worked so hard to build. These students deserve stability and consistency, not constant turnover. They deserve to be valued for who they are and not reduced to a dollar sign on a spreadsheet. Recently, 2 of our outstanding teachers of the year were nominated. Both of them emphasized how Cannon Falls feels like a family. I would contest to this. I'm not from the Cannon Falls area, but I love Cannon Falls, and it's a tight-knit community that I love being a part of. And it's true, we are family. My students, my coworkers, and community are like family to me. My students, they will forever hold a place in my heart, and I'll always be there for them for years to come. While families don't always see eye to eye, much like students and teachers, we always hope to find ground and resolution. Our community is vital, and we strive to work together and communicate effectively with them. We ask you for your support in keeping our family intact. Why do we consider ourselves family? It's because Cannon Falls is more than just a school. It's a welcoming community where alumni come back to work. Students feel comfortable and everyone is valued. So let's continue to foster this sense of community and belonging and unity, for together we are family. I I urge you to reconsider these cuts and recognize the true worth of our students. They are not just numbers, they are our pride, our joy, and our future. Please let's preserve what truly matters, the well-being and success of every student in Cannon Falls. Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to address the board? Thank you for your time. We'll move on. No old business to consider. Under new business, consideration to change the scheduled school board meeting on November 11th to November 12th. Jeff?
Yes, this is a federal holiday on that day, and we cannot have any meetings, according to MSBA. So we move that off of November 11th, and I am suggesting November 12th as the meeting day.
Team?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Clint on the motion,
I'll second.
seconded by Katie. Any other discussion? All in favor of moving that November 11th meeting to November 12th, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Consideration to approve the revised 23-24 spring coaching list. Reed?
Yeah, everything should be full now. Everything is indicated in red, whether it's a new individual or they've gone from a volunteer to a paid position. That's why if the name isn't highlighted, that position would be highlighted. But we now have everything covered and recommend approval.
You got a chance to look at this, people? So when you're ready, I would look for a motion to approve the revised 23-24 spring coaching list.
I'll move to approve.
Luke on the motion,
I'll second.
seconded by Brian. Other discussion? All in favor of the revision for the spring coaching list, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Consideration to approve the fiscal year 25 budget reductions. Mr. Sampson?
Yes, so at the last meeting, you guys asked me to bring back $400,000 worth of cuts. The list is probably bigger here.
Before we get too much deeper, I would ask the board to withhold any questions until we get the whole gist of what's going on here, and then we can address it all at the end. Thank you.
The list is pretty straightforward. We brought back positions, and in the process, the positions will turn into names at the next board meeting in early April. In the elementary, there were 2 reductions, and I should start off by saying that the reductions in the staffing is to right-size classrooms for student-to-teacher ratio. There's been positions out of the pandemic that we have kept. There is an extra position that we added last year as we approached the top of the list of class sizes. And in the middle school, high school, the small class sizes that we reduced a few years ago from the elementary are now moving into the middle school, high school, and so that is going to be cause for reductions also as we move forward. Cutting in the secondary is a lot different than cutting in the elementary, as the licenses are a little bit trickier to work with, and along with the student schedules. In the elementary, one of the recommendations from the elementary principal was to cut the RTI position that we currently have and then move that into a classroom section, and so that it would be a programmatic change for that. Just as a note piece that they felt that it was better served using that FTE in the classroom. And then the only programmatic change in the secondary is a reduction of FIED to get closer to the state standards. K through 12 FIED, as it currently sits, is well above state standards and what is required by the state. What we're asking the board to approve is moving FIED in grades 6 through 8 from every day to roughly every other day, Stephen, as the schedule would shake out. And so it would be about a 50% reduction in FIED. The kids would still get FIED, but it would be at a reduced piece. Keep in mind, another piece on here is special ed. Special ed does not count as a full FTE, as we get 2/3 of that back from the state in funding, and so that is a third of a cut, if you will. But the recommendation from the SPED coordinator is that due to the low numbers coming in, case management will need to be reduced there as well. The bottom piece of this, the additional 6 assignments, as we were scheduling or looking at scheduling in the high school, there would be an addition of 2 6th assignments as well to help make scheduling easier. All in all, the total reductions out of this would be $418,423.59. And again, looking at being fiscally responsible, these are recommended to be cut like that due to the class size piece as well.
I guess I will start. What does right sizing mean to you?
Right sizing means bringing more economic stewardship to the student to teacher ratio in the classroom.
We've a number of years ago, it's probably been a dozen years, we talked about the guidelines, and certainly that's all they are, is guidelines. We were able to support that. Does this put us over the top on guidelines?
No, from what I can tell.
Do we have to rearrange our guidelines to maybe increase those numbers?
That wasn't brought up during our admin meetings, from what I remember.
Can you say it one more time, please?
He's asking if we would be over guidelines, and I don't ever remember that conversation coming up as far as like classes being in the 40s or 50s if we would make cuts, if you will.
Yeah, no, right now, our guidelines state in first and second grade, 20 to 23. And then if over 23, consider adding. Third and fourth grade is 24 to 28. If over 28, consider adding. So if you're asking if our students in a particular grade level would be over 28 in the classroom, the answer is yes. So that would be, depending on the grade level, there might be 28 students in a class or more.
My question will have to at least address guidelines at some point in time, but again, that was only to make us more coordinated in our effort as to the number of students that we have, because we never had guidelines until that 10 years ago. There was never anything like that, so we had. I'll open it up. Who would like to ask a question of Jeff?
Can you talk a little bit more about the 6th assignment? Just describe it a little bit more.
Sure. In a 7th grade day in the high school, middle school, teachers are to teach 5 out of 7, and then if we ask them to teach another section to help balance schedules when we create the schedule, they get paid extra for that. That would be a 6th assignment.
Others?
Do we have an idea of, as far as in the middle school level, what size then the classes would become? Or generally, obviously, very general.
High 20s, low 30s, depending on which grade level and class you're talking about.
And while that would be unique to Cannon Falls from what we've done in the past, is that unique across the state to have that level of?
No, I would say from 5th or 6th grade on, having 30 to 35 is not uncommon throughout the state. You probably see that in Farmington quite a bit.
Yeah, we're in low 30s, or low 20s.
I taught 30 to 35 25 years ago in that school.
And I know I asked this during our finance committee, but when we were discussing what the number we needed to get to as far as reductions, I had asked a question regarding future revenue streams pre-K increase, and what have you. Obviously, we can't turn on a dime and create some new revenue stream, especially in a short period of time. But those things that we thought could bring in revenue were discussed to make up this.
Yeah,
Total number.
and those will still happen.
Yeah.
As well. Proposals, I think Reed's working on preschool and can kids increases and activity, at least talking about activities, activity fee increases.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't.
And keep in mind, preschool and Cannon Kids are Fund 4 versus the general fund. And so there's a little bit of difference there. But yeah, those are being considered.
So the K-12, for FIAD, kindergarten through 6, or kindergarten through 5 would stay the same,
Yeah, that would be every day.
and then it's 6 through 8.
6 through 8 is what this would be.
Going
Yeah, Stephen, that was
every other.
what you guys had board meeting, correct?
Yep, so students get half the amount of physical education and health instruction that they currently get now, and the way we've talked about currently constructing it would be an every other day thing. We went back and forth between it, to look like a semester at a time, but this way they would still get some sort of physical health instruction throughout the year, every other day.
And then, I guess my concern is with the special ed position, how much of an increase is that gonna, if we remove a full FTE, how much of an increase in like their caseloads is that gonna bring them? I mean, is it substantially gonna cut the one-on-one time with the kids, or is it going to, are they still gonna be able to, I guess I used to work in that department, and I know how needy some of those children can be with certain things, and depending on the kids that are in the situation, and every case is different, and so I'm just wondering if that's manageable, being that we only get a third of that, or if we're only paying a third of that, if that's, I guess, if that was necessarily needed as far as right sizing, like, I guess how many cases does one special ed teacher have?
I wish our special ed coordinator was here, but she got sick today,
Okay,
and she'd be better able to answer that.
Okay.
It was a recommendation from her.
it was a recommendation.
Yes. Yep, seeing that this is manageable and reasonable, and we still fall within guidelines.
And you're still falling within the policy that we just passed?
Yes. Yep, she looked at that as well.
I do have one more question. So, all of these are involving the teachers and the direct impact to students, classrooms. I understand the increase of class sizes, things like that. Are there other areas that we can look at to where maybe we can keep FIED as an everyday in the middle level? Are there other options that we can have on the table as far as that one PE teacher?
There's always other options.
Right.
You may not like the answers to some of those questions, but there's always other options. Administratively, we talked through a lot of those options and decided this was you never want to say it's never impactful for cuts, because it's not true, right?
Right.
But it's the least impactful scenario that we have currently on the board. If you want us to explore something different, that's fine, but we could sit here and go all spring going back and forth about programs, and do you want to cut an entire program out of a high school and then deal with it that way, whatever that program is, or you want to have less of one program but we're still meeting the needs?
Well, I guess I'm not talking about program as much as is there on the administrative side, is there on different areas that we could potentially do reductions in?
Support staff, administration, that sort of stuff.
Correct.
Yep, and guess my response to that would be, the work would need to go somewhere. No matter who you cut or what you cut from that piece of it. Administratively, we're actually on the low side of administration from schools our size within our conference. We have less, you're talking just principals in general, right? We have less than Lake City and Zambroda when we're really compared to those two schools that are close in size to us. Support staff, we cut support staff a couple years ago when we made reductions. I mean, like I said, anything's possible. It's just a matter of how it's going to look like once you're done cutting.
You talked about, Jen, you made a comment about 28 students. Can you elaborate on that? You said you think it was for sure going to be over.
It depends on where the reductions come from and which grade level.
Okay. There's obviously certain grade levels where it for sure is going to put them over 28 versus other grade levels where it would not be.
Yep.
When, because like you said, what was it, as long as our guidelines suggested up to 33?
33, and that's middle school.
Oh, that's middle school, yeah, so
Yep.
23, 21, and 28 were kind of, and 30.
Yeah, kindergarten is 18 through 21, first
Yep.
and second, 20 to 23.
Mhm.
Third and fourth are lumped together, 24 to 28, and fifth grade is 27 to 30.
When we make that decision, are we taking that into account to, in hopes to stay within our guidelines that we have set? To not.
That doesn't mean that we may not be right at it.
For sure, just, it's definitely something that we hold dearly, our smaller class sizes to the best of our abilities. So the RTI teacher, the RTI position, you worded it as that person will now just funnel into the classroom.
Yep.
Instead of being in the
I don't know if you wanna
RTI
talk to that.
position.
Jen?
Sure. I have a WIN team at the elementary school that includes a title teacher, 2 ADSES teacher, an RTI teacher, and a general education para. So that WIN team, there will be a reduction to that, and this cut will come from RTI because RTI is funded through general education dollars. And so pending on what that looks like on that team would determine one of those 4 teachers would be going back into the classroom.
And this was your suggestion? that you
This
said
is my
was your-
suggestion. When I look at FTE that need to be reduced versus another grade level at 3 sections, hands down. That does not mean that my opinion of interventionists
For sure.
is
A couple of meetings ago, we asked Jeff to come back with suggestions, and 400 was the number that we asked him to step up with. And if I can put Josh Davison on the spot, that would have to be a collaborative effort from both of you to decide that if 400 was our magic number, we wouldn't go any less than that. We could go backwards with our fund balance. Would that be a right statement?
It means they on the spot, certainly. It's also the finance committee. The finance policy would be just right at 4 to 6% on the unassigned fund balance. We're at 2.6. 1% roughly is about $140,000 on a $14 million annual budget. With the amount of revenue increase we have from the state, it's not keeping up with inflation or settlements, and there's going to have to be some sort of give to make it sort of work out. It still keeps us at only about 2.6 to 3% in the unassigned fund balance, where ours would say that we really should be at a 10 to 12, even higher percentage than that. They'd like to see 2 months, which would be 16%. So in order to keep us on the right side of not being
a statutory operating debt, reductions are necessary.
When we hire our superintendent, his job is to manage the day-to-day operations. Our job is to quiz him and make sure that's the direction we want to go based on being community representatives. And we hold his feet to the fire to do the things that we want done and justify them. So, do we have any more questions for our superintendent?
I just would like to make one more comment, if that's all right.
Sure, sure.
You know, and mostly because I'm one of three that were here 2 years ago when we made investments coming out of COVID to staff, right? To some positions that when COVID money went away, we kept them on board because it was the right thing to do, and I stand by that. I believe in that. I think it was the right thing to do. I truly do. The problem is that money went away. We now have a new negotiation or a settlement, and there's just not a lot of wiggle room there. So while it was the right thing at the time, I'm a little frustrated by the messaging that this is, you know, we did what we were asked 2 years ago, and I stand by that. It was the right thing. It was the right thing for the kids. Our teachers and staff advocated for kids at that time. And now through this process of negotiations, we're now asking for teacher increases, and they deserve it. But we're getting it from both ends here, and I'm a little frustrated by the messaging we get from staff saying, hey, we need this, but then we get hit with this, and it's, in my opinion, ditch to ditch. Right? I'm trying to blaze a path here down the road as best we can. But when we get asked for one thing, and then shortly thereafter get a different side of it, it's really difficult to make everyone happy. And there is absolutely right sizing that needs to come because of what we did 2 years ago, even though it was the right thing at the time. And it was. But now we're in this situation, and I'm not saying it's all within here, because it's not, but it's the truth, and we're here to deal with it. So,
You know, and to go back to what Ms. Dombeck said in her speech, we're not being fully funded properly at all by the state. And I will keep hammering that to anybody that wants to listen to me. And that has been my soapbox of late. And so I truly believe that, and we do need to attract and retain staff. Honestly, we do. And with not being properly funded, we're going down a path that we're reacting to not being properly funded currently. We have to make reductions, and we also have to probably go out and ask the community for an increase in the levy. That's where we're at. That's our easy. And call your legislators and let them know that. Call more than just your current ones here in your district or our district. Call people that are the leaders up in St. Paul. Tell them that. We're still not being properly funded for what they want to do. Either that or knock off the mandates. That's my 2 cents. I'll shut up.
I'd like to piggyback off of here and just say, this is my 8th year. It's my 8th year. And cuts are never easy. I see both sides of every situation, and I'm a very empathetic person. So I can see when people come to me with certain scenarios, I'm like, yeah, I see it. I get it. And it's this balancing act of trying to make sure that we can keep, cuts always leave somebody unhappy and for the greater good of everyone else. And the thing with these cuts, and I know it looks so, like when I saw it for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, it's all FTE. It's all teachers.
And, but the problem is we have looked at so many creative ways over the years. We've looked at, you know, energy costs and grant funding and all of these different things. But unfortunately, we need something that is we can take care of now, and that's something that is something, I don't even know how to explain this, but something that we can right size to the students, do the best that we can without disrupting too much. And I know that there's not going to be no disruption. I'm not naive to any of that. I want you to have your raises. I want us to get the community more behind us all. I wish we had money for it all. And I just feel like that this is our best option at this point.
I just want to make one comment. I just wanted to say that during negotiations, everyone that was in the room was fully aware of what was going to be taking place. And what we've done is we've asked our admin team, who is our day-to-day people, to come up with a solution for what we needed for reductions. And we have the solutions here that they provided for us, and I will stand by that.
Yeah, I think like everybody said, like obviously this is my first go at, you know, doing cuts and stuff like that and being on this end of the fence, but then also I also am a parent. I have my kids in you guys' classes, and so my kids will be directly affected by this. I get that. I feel that. But like Clinton said, hearing what the staff has said, hey, this is our best option at this point in time for what we think should be cut and can be cut to hopefully have the least damage possible. So.
My biggest struggle I have is the secondary Fayette going down to every other day is certainly a hang up for me, and the importance of having Fayette every day. I understand the need for right sizing. I get that part. I do have a problem with once something's gone, getting it back is rather difficult, and that is certainly a hang up of mine. To where, as Katie said, it's all teacher FTEs on this, and my hesitation is certainly coming around that middle level is going to feel the deep impact with this proposal.
You're right about when we reduce something and it doesn't come back. We used to call it home ec. What is it now? Life's
Facts.
gone. It's been gone for 10 or 12 years. It was a good program, but it's gone and probably not to come back. So it happens, and there's in a small town. It's where are your priorities? I appreciate all your input in here. Good conversation. If we could have a motion and a second in any direction that you choose, we can continue the discussion after that if you choose. So I would look for a motion to approve something on the reductions.
I'll make a motion to approve the reductions as shown.
As shown. Clint on the motion. Is there a second? Second time. Is there a second? Third and final time. Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Luke. Any more discussion? Team, I know what you're going through here. us have been through one of these before, some of us have been through several of them before. But it tugs at your heart, not only that, but it also is something where you have to look, as has been said, about our financial situation. And I prefer not to include the negotiation conversation that we had in this conversation, because I think they're mutually exclusive. We know what we reached out to do on behalf of our educators, and we're proud of that. It was tough, and it was long and drawn out. But what we have here is a different situation, and we need to right our ship. So we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any other discussion? All in favor of the fiscal year 25 budget reductions as shown, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
That passes by a 5-1 vote, with Brian being the dissenting vote. Sorry, Brian, have to mention that. Okay. Thank you for the input and the serious conversation. Consideration to approve a resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of a teaching contract at the close of the 23-24 school year probationary teacher.
The name attached to this is Joel Justin, and I recommend approval.
Is this part of the process of the teacher reduction?
This is a probationary teacher that we are recommending for non-renewal.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Luke on the motion,
I'll second.
Julian on the second. Any other discussion? Clerk, do you think?
Pages maybe on. Is it Are these both identical?
The other thing.
Should be. So portion, do you want me to read? Be
I
it
would start
resolved.
with
Lori,
resolution.
what should we read?
Be it
Be it
resolved.
resolved, start there and go from, just, is it, you want me to just do those first two little?
Do the first two paragraphs.
Be it resolved by the school board of Independent School District number 252 that pursuant to Minnesota statutes 122A dot 40 subdivision 5 and the district master agreement that the teaching contract of Joel Justin, a probationary teacher in Independent School District number 252 shall be non-renewed at the close of the current 2023 to 2024 school year. Be it further resolved that the notice be sent to the said teacher regarding termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract as provided by law, and that said notice shall be substantially the following form.
So yes vote would be for the approval.
Yes vote, or yes or no from Brian?
Yes.
Luke?
Yes.
Katie? Yes. Clinton?
Yes.
Yes,
And myself is yes.
that passes by a 6-0 vote. Next one, consideration to approve the resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract at the end of 23-24 school year probationary teacher.
This is for Joe Webster, and I recommend approval.
Motion to approve,
I'll move to approve.
Luke on the motion,
I'll second.
seconded by Katie. Other discussion? Clerk?
Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District number 252 that pursuant to Minnesota statutes 122A dot 40 subdivision 5 and the district master agreement that the teaching contract of Joe Webster, a probationary teacher in Independent School District number 252, shall be non-renewed at the close of the current 2023 to 2024 school year. Be it further resolved that the written notice be sent to said teacher regarding termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract as provided by law, and that said notice shall be substantially the following form.
So yes vote would be to approve the non-renewal.
A yes or no from Brian?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes,
Luke?
Yes.
Katie? Yes. Clinton?
Consideration to approve the resolution proposing placement on unrequested leave of absence at the close of the 23-24 school year due to the required out-of-field licensing procedures set forth by the Minnesota Professional Licensing and Standards Board. Mr. Sampson?
So, we have a teacher that is in an out-of-field placement that is above a .2 FTE. And the way we've handled this in the past couple of years is that we've always advertised for that position, and we have to wait 60 days, and then we have that person come back into their license and carry on with their life. The state has told us that now we need to officially put them on unrequested leave, because if we advertise and hire for something that we haven't let go, we will end up inadvertently adding staff. So this is really a formality of the process that we have to put this position on unrequested leave so that we can start the process of advertising for the licensed position. And then if we don't find anybody, which we haven't over the last 2 or 3 years, then we come back and offer that position again. So, and that position is Mr. Zimmerman's .6, I believe, FTE construction trades position for the house.
So Mr. Zimmerman doesn't have the certification, but he has the experience, and he's been our go-to person. We have to formally look for a person who's got that certification. If somebody steps forward and says, I have the certification, does that mean that's an Mr. Zimmerman
They
no
have to be an
longer?
acceptable candidate.
They must be an acceptable candidate.
Is probably the best way to say that.
Okay, I understand that logic. I would look for a motion to follow the resolution as shown.
I'll make a motion.
Brian, seconded please.
I'll second.
Second by Katie. Other discussion?
Yeah, just the program itself is healthy going forward and whatnot, correct? As of today?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're still having, we're in the middle of building a house.
And I'm very close to having my certificate.
Oh, yeah, and I forgot to mention.
I've been working on it for 3 years. I'm getting close. Very close.
Yeah, it's not like he's not doing anything to try to resolve this situation.
That's what you need. Okay, we'll close discussion. Clerk?
Just first 2 paragraphs again, do we think?
Yeah, be resolved and be further resolved.
Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent District Number 252 as follows. It is proposed that, do we want first sentence? So not just Zimmerman. Brett Zimmerman, a continued contract, tenured teacher of said district, be placed on unrequested leave of absence without pay or fringe benefits for the .6 FTE construction trades assignment due to licensing requirements and procedural processes that we have to follow set forth by, is it Pellsby A?
Pellsby, I think there was an extra A in there.
Okay, Pellsby. At the end of the 2023-2024 school year effective June 6, 2024. And said action is taken in accordance with the district master agreement and pursuant to Minnesota statute 122A.40 subdivision 10 upon the grounds described in said statute, and which are specifically as follows: out of field licensing procedures set forth by Pellsby, the Minnesota Professional Licensing and Standards Board. Be it further resolved that a notice of proposed placement on unrequested leave, together with a copy of this resolution, be forwarded to said teacher, and that the affidavit of the same be placed in teacher's personal file with a copy of the notice and resolution. So I'll need a yes or no vote. Brian?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Luke?
Yes.
Katie? Clinton?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
It passes by a 6-0 vote. meeting. Katie, you're gonna give us the prelim at this point in time, but you did such a great job before. You know, as we prepare for this meeting, as I prepare for this meeting, I look up things that are data related. And one of the things that I really looked at intentionally was the cliff notes from our audit. Each and every year we get that audit back, and many times we have to wait for negotiations to finish before we can, or we'll wait for that audit to show up before we move on with our negotiations. But the thing that struck me, and has struck me for the last couple of years, is that in our category of schools within 1,000 to 1,200 in attendance, we are somewhat to significantly higher than the average school is as to spending money on our students, our ADM. And we've always thought of this and continue to think of this as our success method. We have great teachers, we know that. We have great academics, we know that. Gosh, we have great extracurricular, we know that. But it does come at some expense. And we gladly put that money out. And when I looked at it, it approaches $300,000 more than the average. But that's okay, because that's what we want to do. We're a team here. We provide you with the resources as best we can financially. It hasn't parlayed into higher enrollment, which is one of the areas that we thought, okay, lower class sizes, more spending on our educational process. As of yet, it hasn't panned out. And so what we need to do is the right sizing that has wounded us all here, from our educators to our paraprofessionals to everyone. So I really appreciated the thought you put into your conversations and your hand wringing during this time, because it's not very easy, because we live together. So as we close this evening, just know that you've done the best you possibly could with the resources that you have in a very tough time. And again, there's a lot of folks at this table that don't have a lot of experience here, and I laud you for how you stepped up and the questions that you've asked. And once again, it's hard to thank administration when we're going to cut $400K, but we absolutely know the reasons why, because you presented this to them. So, having said that, I would have you look at the upcoming school board meeting and the things that are on the meeting, and anything that you have to add to that if you choose. Contact Lori, contact Jeff, and we'll see if we can get it put on. I would look at this time for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Julian on the motion. Brian, I thought you were going to be that man from now on.
I'll second.
Thank you. Seconded by Brian. Any other discussion? All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That is carried. We are finished.